It was a case that gripped the entire nation, a case filled with lies, betrayal, and a tragic loss that left many questions unanswered. The mysterious death of 2-year-old Kaylee Anthony would go down as one of the most infamous cases in American history. But how did this innocent child vanish? What secrets were buried beneath the surface? In this video, we will dive deep into the events that led to Kaylee's disappearance, the disturbing inconsistencies in the case, and the shocking trial that followed. Kaylee Marie Anthony was born on August 9, 2005, to a young mother named Casey Anthony. She lived with her mother and grandparents, George and Cindy Anthony, in Orlando, Florida. To the outside world, the Anthony family seemed normal, loving, and happy. But behind closed doors, tensions simmered. Casey, a 22-year-old single mother, was known for her carefree and party-loving lifestyle, and her parents often found themselves taking on the responsibility of raising little Kaylee. Despite the challenges, Cindy and George adored their granddaughter. She was their sunshine, their pride and joy. But no one could have predicted the nightmare that lay ahead. On July 15, 2008, Cindy Anthony made a frantic 911 call that would change everything. Her words were chilling. "There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car." She continued, sobbing, "I haven't seen my granddaughter in 31 days. 31 days. An entire month had passed since anyone had last seen Kaylee Anthony. How could a 2-year-old child vanish without anyone noticing? The police were immediately suspicious. Casey Anthony, Kaylee's mother, had not reported her daughter missing. In fact, for the past month, she had been living her life as if nothing had happened, going out to parties, posting pictures on social media, and even getting a tattoo that read Bella Vita, meaning beautiful life in Italian. When confronted by police, Casey's explanation was bizarre. She claimed that Kaylee had been kidnapped by a mysterious babysitter named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, a woman no one had ever met or heard of before. The police quickly tracked down every lead connected to the name, but it led nowhere. Zenaida simply did not exist. The inconsistencies in Casey's story were glaring. Investigators discovered that the last verified sighting of Kaylee was on June 16, 2008. After that, no one, not Casey's friends, not her family, had seen the child. And yet, Casey had spent weeks pretending everything was fine. She had even told her mother that she and Kaylee were spending time together at the beach and at various amusement parks. None of these stories were true. As police pressed Casey for answers, she led them to an apartment complex where she claimed Zenaida had lived. But when they knocked on the door, they found the unit was vacant. Detectives knew they were being lied to. But why? Where was Kaylee? Police turned their attention to Casey's car. The Pontiac Sunfire had been impounded after being found abandoned in a parking lot. When officers opened the trunk, a horrifying smell hit them, one that experienced detectives recognized immediately: the smell of human decomposition. Inside the trunk, they found traces of what appeared to be human hair and decomposition stains. Forensic tests later revealed that the hair belonged to Kaylee Anthony and showed signs of post-mortem banding, indicating that the hair came from a dead body. But there was still no sign of Kaylee herself. As the investigation intensified, Casey continued to spin elaborate lies. She told investigators she worked at Universal Studios, so detectives asked her to take them there. In a bizarre twist, Casey confidently walked with police into the park, only to finally admit, after several minutes, that she didn't actually work there at all. As the case gained national attention, the public became fascinated and enraged by Casey Anthony's behavior. How could a mother whose child had been missing for over a month act so indifferent? Instead of breaking down and pleading for help, Casey seemed emotionless, even smug at times. When she was first arrested for child neglect and lying to police, her reaction was chilling. She did not cry. She did not ask about Kaylee. Instead, she worried about herself. Meanwhile, Cindy and George Anthony were devastated. They pleaded with the public for help finding their granddaughter. Cindy continued to believe Casey's story, clinging to the hope that Kaylee was still alive. But deep down, doubt was growing. Thousands of volunteers joined the search for Kaylee Anthony. Flyers were posted everywhere. News stations covered the case relentlessly, and law enforcement combed through wooded areas, lakes, and abandoned buildings. But still, nothing. Then, a new piece of evidence emerged. Computer searches from the Anthony family home showed disturbing searches related to chloroform, neck breaking, and how to make homemade weapons. The most haunting search of all? Foolproof suffocation. Who had made these searches? And what did they mean for little Kaylee? As evidence mounted, so did public outrage. The world demanded answers, and law enforcement was determined to find them. But no one was prepared for what would happen next. For months, the search for Kaylee Anthony continued, but hope was fading. Then, on December 11th, 2008, a utility worker named Roy Kronk made a disturbing discovery in a wooded area near the Anthony family home. A small skull, partially covered by leaves, was found inside a trash bag. As authorities combed through the site, more skeletal remains were uncovered. It was Kaylee. The forensic analysis confirmed the worst fears. The remains were those of the missing toddler. But what happened to her? The medical examiner ruled Kaylee's death a homicide, but the cause was officially labeled homicide by undetermined means. Despite this, the evidence surrounding her remains told a chilling story. Duct tape was found near the skull, some of it still attached to the hair. This suggested that Kaylee may have been suffocated. The plastic bag, along with the laundry bag found nearby, hinted at an attempt to conceal the body. The condition of the remains indicated she had been in that location for a long time, possibly since the time she was last seen alive in June 2008. With the discovery of Kaylee's remains, the case against Casey Anthony took a serious turn. The young mother was charged with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter of a child. Prosecutors believed they had enough evidence to prove she was responsible for her daughter's death. The trial of Casey Anthony began in May 2011 and lasted 6 weeks. It was one of the most highly publicized trials in modern history, with millions tuning in to watch the dramatic courtroom proceedings unfold. The prosecution presented a damning case, arguing that Casey had deliberately murdered her daughter so she could enjoy a carefree party lifestyle. They pointed to the suspicious internet searches, the chloroform traces in Casey's car, and most notably, the duct tape found with Kaylee's remains. The defense, however, stunned the courtroom with an unexpected claim. Kaylee had accidentally drowned in the Anthony family pool on June 16, 2008, and Casey's father, George Anthony, had helped cover it up. The defense painted Casey as a victim of years of abuse and manipulation, suggesting that her odd behavior and lies were a result of lifelong trauma. The trial featured emotional testimonies, shocking evidence, and heated arguments. Casey Anthony herself did not take the stand, but her every reaction was scrutinized by the media and the public. On July 5, 2011, the jury reached a verdict. The nation held its breath as the judge read the decision. Not guilty of first-degree murder, not guilty of aggravated child abuse, not guilty of aggravated manslaughter of a child. Casey Anthony was found guilty only of providing false information to law enforcement. The verdict sent shockwaves through the country, sparking outrage and disbelief. Many believed justice had not been served for Caylee. Following her acquittal, Casey Anthony walked free, but she remained one of the most hated figures in America. She faced public backlash, death threats, and a media circus that followed her every move. Her parents, Cindy and George Anthony, were left shattered. Their family was fractured beyond repair. George denied the accusations made against him during the trial, and their once close-knit household crumbled under the weight of the tragedy. Casey Anthony attempted to live a private life, but the public never forgot her. She later gave rare interviews, maintaining her innocence and insisting she did not know what had happened to Caylee. Even today, the death of Caylee Anthony remains one of the most controversial cases in American history. The public still debates what really happened. Was Caylee's death an accident, as the defense claimed, or was it a premeditated murder, as the prosecution argued? The case changed the legal system, influenced public opinion on forensic evidence, and left a lasting impact on how the media covers high-profile criminal cases. One thing is certain: Caylee Anthony's life was tragically cut short, and the world will never forget her story. Thank you for watching.